Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here, bringing you episode 11 of my Agrarian Skies Hardcore Quest Let's Play. This game pack by Jadedcat is available on the Feed the Beast launcher. Today, I want to build a new storage system. I've got this fantastic smelting production line going on, providing me all kinds of metals, coal, gems, etc, etc, etc. I want a better place to store it than in one giant diamond chest, because as fancy as that is, I think I can get fancier. So, to do that, I've got the first preparations made, ran some power underneath the floor here, got it covered up with coverage, so I'll put the last one on there, and made myself some machines set up to take in from the top and output to the chests right next to them. These are going to help me get the materials that I need. One of those materials is an awful lot of redstone. Luckily, I noticed I got an extra bonus in this woven miner's backpack that came from the last set of quest turn-ins. There were 4 stacks of redstone ore inside of this thing. So, I can use redstone ore to get myself a lot of redstone. Smelting it only gets 1. If I set it down in the world and break it with a pickaxe, that'll get me, I think, 3 to 6 a piece. Fortune would make that higher. I could use the pulverizer to get 6 redstone and 1 cinnabar. The cinnabar is not really useful in this version of the game. In standard modded Minecraft, I'd be using that cinnabar with ferrous ore to make shiny ingots, but I already have an awful lot of shiny ingots because my sifting production line over there creates me platinum dust, which cooks down into shiny blocks in this mine pack. So instead, I'm going to be dumping my redstone ore into an induction smelter to get a block of redstone per redstone ore. That's 9 dust, and a rich slag, which I can use to get some bonus, I don't know, probably gold, just because I run out of gold very easily. Now, I'm going to need a lot of sand to do this, and I've got plenty of sand just hanging out in the system right now. With nothing better to do. So I'm going to grab all of the sand out of here. Oh, this guy's not running. Alright, I'm going to turn that guy on and let him create a bunch of sand for me. Alright, be back in one moment once I've got my sand. That's better. Got myself 4 stacks of sand to go along with the 4 stacks of redstone ore. Going to take those back in here to my induction smelter. This is inputting from the top from a hopper and outputting to the right-hand side into a chest. And 1 redstone ore, 1 stack of sand, starts cooking up. I'm going to put 2 more stacks of sand and 2 more stacks of redstone ore in the top. This is set to input both sides from the top with that kind of light blue teal, something like that. And it's set to output both output slots with, I guess that's an orange color? I have no idea. In any case, lots of redstone coming in now. So, what's the next step along the way? Well, I want better on-person inventory than just being limited to this little bit of space. And to do that, I'm going to make myself a golden bag of holding, because I've got all the materials I need for that. Golden bag of holding is made with 4 wool in the corners, 1 chest in the center, a block of gold in the bottom, and 3 gold around the other 3 spaces. And that gets me the extra utilities golden bag of holding, which has as much space in it as a standard double chest. And that will now just hang out in my inventory. I'll store my tools in it, say. Anytime that I need to grab a tool, I can open it up and grab what I need. It's pretty convenient, very fantastic. Now, what else do I need to create the Applied Energistics system? Well, I need a lot of nether quartz. If you remember, I got a little bit of nether quartz by sifting some soul sand early on, but I need probably a good 2 or 3 stacks of nether quartz, and I think I only have 30 left in my system over here. Let's go take a look. At the moment, I have 39 nether quartz. That is not nearly enough for my needs. So I'm going to come over here to my witch water creation station, where I currently have 32 buckets of witch water, plus the barrel producing more. And I've got a hopper set up pointing into the barrel with sand in the chest, feeding into the hopper, feeding into the barrel, and an item duct underneath set to export. So I'm just going to set a chest down there, and that's going to start creating soul sand for me. Once I have a good bit, I'll go toss it into the sieve system, and I'll be able to, well, the sieve system, let's pronounce things correctly now, and that'll get me the nether quartz that I'm going to need. One other item that I'm going to need to create this Applied Energistics system, besides the Certus quartz dust and Certus quartz that come default in the mod, is silicon. And I went looking through how I was going to get silicon, because normally I make this stuff with, let's see, where is it? Normally I would be smelting up nether quartz dust to get silicon, but I thought there might be a better way, and there is. You can use 9 raw plastic from Mine Factory Reloaded to get 1 silicon. And this silicon is used primarily in the creation of processors, which are extremely important to Applied Energistics. I'm going to need over a stack of processors, which means more than 9 stacks of plastic need to be used. So what I did is I came over to my rubber tree farm setup, and I put a hopper right there on top of a redstone furnace, with this guy set to whitelist rubber, and it's feeding rubber into the furnace, which is cooking the raw rubber into rubber bars, feeding it into another furnace, which is cooking the rubber bars into raw plastic, which is feeding into this chest. And I already have almost 6 stacks of what I need out of that. So I'm going to let the plastic continue cooking, and I'm going to allow the soul sand to start sieving. And once I have everything I need to make the next step, which is primarily going to be an awful lot of silicon and an awful lot of nether quartz, I'll be right back. Alright folks, I have 10 stacks of raw plastic and 2 stacks of nether quartz now. That'll be enough to get me started. So, first things first, I need to turn this plastic into silicon. I'm going to do so just like this. And it will take a full set of 64 to go where I'm going. Now I'm going to use that silicon to make processor assemblies, and these processor assemblies get smelted into the basic and advanced processors. And I actually need just a few more to make all that I want, because I want 4 advanced processors and a full stack of the lower level processor. Now to make those, I need to make myself a couple of quartz cutting tools. And those are made with a couple of sticks like that, some iron like that, and some Certus quartz I seem to have forgotten my recipe. Quartz cutting knife. Sorry. There. I had the right ingredients, slightly wrong order. And these only have 50 uses apiece, so I've made 2 of them. Now I need to go get some of my redstone, which has been cooking up in the Induction Smelter. Pick up a whole stack of that. There we go. And I'm just going to turn it all into dust. That is a lot of redstone dust for basically free. Gotta love good rewards. Alright, so cutting knife goes just like that. Gold ingots underneath it, silicon on the bottom, and redstone surrounding it. That gets me 64 basic processor assemblies. Well, it gets me 51 because that knife ran out of durability, which is why I have 2. And then I do the exact same pattern, but with diamond, and I get 4 advanced processor assemblies. And I'm going to turn some of this redstone back into block form so there's just less of it in the inventory. And boop, boop, boop. Alright. Next step is going to be to make well, actually I need to fire these processors in a furnace. Luckily I've got my redstone furnace sitting right here waiting, so I'm going to toss the advanced processors in there and the basics into the item hopper. That'll feed into the furnace, which will spit them all out into the chest. I'm going to grab one of them right now so that I can start making the controller. Now, the ME controller is the heart of the network. You have to have one of these for the network to work, and it needs to be hooked up to power so that it can supply power to everything else. It requires one of those advanced processors we just made, an iron ingot, and 4 iron ingots, and 4 fluix crystals, which are made with nether quartz, Certus quartz, and redstone. All materials that we have. Come over here, use you to make fluix crystals. Going to make 4 of those because I believe that's all I need. And create my controller. Now, for all that it does being the heart of the network, it doesn't actually do anything on its own. I'm going to put it down right here so it has power. It's drawing 1.2 Minecraft joules per tick, which is about the same as 12 redstone flux a tick. I'm currently, well, not currently producing any, but I have almost 20 million redstone flux saved up. That'll last quite a while. Now, to make this guy do anything, I need to get a ME drive. And the ME drive, this is where I put my storage disks, because Applied Energistics is about compressing my items into a digital format and writing them into memory. To make the ME drive, I need 2 of the basic processors, some glass, a chest, and some iron ingots. And I'm actually going to need to grab some more sand to get some glass going. I can start that going in the furnace. I've got enough of the basics done now to feel confident running through a couple stacks of sand before any more come through. So I'm just going to wait for 3 more sand to come in. There's 1, 2, 3. Alright. Now, the only thing the ME drive does is store items. And there's 2 basic processors, 4 iron ingots, 2 glass, and 1 chest. If you want to actually be able to access those items, you need a terminal. And it's also helpful to have the terminal to put things in. There we go. Terminals come in 3 varieties. The ME Access Terminal, which is basically a database of items. You can even search through it and appears as a very large chest. The ME Crafting Terminal, which has a smaller window into your inventory, but has a crafting grid built into it and allows you to craft directly from what you have stored in your Applied Energistics system. And the ME Fluid Terminal, which I haven't actually messed with because that one comes from extra cells. There's also the Wireless Access Terminal, which is a handheld device you can carry with you at all times and use to access your system remotely. We'll be crafting one of those in a later episode. Probably the Fluid Terminal as well. Right now, I need the Access Terminal, which is made using a conversion matrix, some ME cable, glass, and iron. The conversion matrix is made with one of those ME basic processors, nether quartz, Certus quartz, and Fluix dust. Fluix dust is the same recipe as Fluix crystals, except in dust form. I need Certus quartz dust, nether quartz dust, and redstone. And I can mix in plastic as a kind of a booster to get double the output, which is why I grabbed myself some extra plastic going into this. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grind down an entire stack worth of nether quartz, and once that's done, I will be right back. Actually, change of plans. I have a couple of nether quartz dust in my inventory, enough to get started anyway. So I'm going to use nether quartz dust, redstone, Certus quartz dust, and plastic to make Fluix dust. And I've got 36 of the stuff now. And I'm going to make an ME access terminal by making a conversion matrix. Make 1 conversion matrix. Turn that into... Ooh, before that I need to make ME cables. ME cables are made by surrounding Fluix dust with either glass to get 3 cables per 3 Fluix dust, or plastic to get 4 cables per 4 Fluix dust. And let's see, the other option is you can undie cables and uncover covered cables by placing them one at a time in a crafting grid. I'm going to make the 4 cables per 3 Fluix dust recipe because it's just more efficient. And to do so, I'm going to spread my Fluix dust just like this. There we go. And I'm going to spread my plastic like so. And ME cable. This stuff is basically the communication and power transfer cable of the Applied Energistics system. I can hook it up to the controller and set other things hooked onto the cable. For example, I could set the ME drive like that. You'll see it, if I click on here, you can see that it can now detect that there are 2 cables and 1 drive connected to the network. If I were to remove this by shift right clicking with a buildcraft wrench, or a buildcraft compatible wrench, those items are gone now. All Applied Energistics items can be removed with the crescent hammer because it counts as a buildcraft wrench, which it also comes with its own quartz wrench, which you can make out of 5 quartz. Oh, and if you've noticed that my lovely custom skin from my partner Apollocat is currently missing, it's because I'm recording on April Fool's Day, and the villagers have invaded. I'm just kind of happy that my pack has not been infected by the sounds that came with it, because it would make recording very difficult at the moment. And I'm not sure why my FPS is suffering so much at the moment. Probably going to turn all this off and hope that that solves the issue. Without so much stuff going through tubes, I assume it'll be a little better. I think that between episodes, I'm going to work on getting this thing changed over to an Applied Energistics focus, because I'm afraid to say that all of these items dancing through the tubes are probably lagging my FPS when I'm trying to record. Okay, so now that I've got my ME cables and I've explained what those are for, I'm going to use them to make that terminal. ME access terminal. Poof. And now I'm going to need some sort of disk to actually store items on, and those are the storage items. They come in storage cells, storage segments, which I'm not seeing right now. Deep storage, fluid storage, spatial storage, storage segments. There we go. So they come storage cells, which are made with one basic processor, storage segments, which are made with a basic processor and 3 storage cells, storage blocks, which are made with an advanced processor and 3 storage segments, and storage clusters, which are made with an advanced processor and 3 storage blocks. Now, each type of storage can store greater and greater amounts of items. The storage cell is the least, and the storage cluster is the most. However, each one can still only store 63 different types of items. So, for example, block of iron, iron ingot, quartz cutting knife, nether quartz, and Certus quartz dust are all different types of items. Also, every type of item uses more space. So I can store, for example, 64 stacks of cobblestone and use less space on the drives than I can storing 64 stacks of 64 different items. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to be working on the project that I was starting over there, which is going to be a storage temple, because, you know, I figure the creators and the code wizards will approve of having a, you know, big shining black and white edifice to their greatness, full of barrels full of items. What I'm going to be using the drive for primarily is storing items that I have small amounts of. And to do that, I'm going to be using lots of storage segments in there. So I'm going to create a whole bunch of storage cells, 14 to start. Yeah, that looks like a good number. I need one more, actually. There, 15 storage cells. I need to go get another one of the basic processors, which should be done cooking by now. Or it's still working on all that glass, isn't it? Oh well. We'll start with the 4. That'll be enough for the time being. So, I'm going to make myself storage segments now. Storage segments are created with redstone, glass, storage cells, and basic processors. Which, oh, I'm lacking in the redstone department. Hang on. I am no longer lacking in the redstone department. There we go. 4 storage segments. And now I can take these and I can input them into the drive. And I can put the drive right next to the controller and it'll detect that the drive's there and ready for use. And then I can plug the access terminal in right on top of it. There we go. And now, if I want to, I can store my dust, my gravel, my... Oh, you know what helps is if you actually install the storage disks first. So to turn these storage segments into storage disks, I need to use iron ingots, redstone, and glass to create the ME 4K storage. So I'm going to do that right now. There we go. And now I have 4 4K storages. And if I ever want to upgrade these storage items, I can. I need to empty it out entirely. See, 0 of 4096 bytes used, 0 of 63 types. I can hold shift and right click, and I've got my storage cell housing in the left and my storage segment in the on the right. And then I can simply combine that segment into a better storage item, combine it in a crafting grid with the empty storage housing to get the 4K storage. You cannot craft the storage cell housings separately from everything else. You have to create the 4K storage like this. Alright. Or, well, not the 4K, but you can create, for example, the ME 1K storage, the ME 64K storage, the ME 16K storage. Each step up is 4 times the storage of the tier below it. So I'm going to install these 4 drives, and we can see that those 4 are now lit up. And now I can, if I want to, store my sand, store my gravel, store my dust. And as useful as it is to be able to store everything like that, I would like to have the crafting terminal. So I'm going to gather what I need to create that, and I'll be right back. And I'm back with everything I need to make the crafting terminal. The crafting terminal is created with a crafting table, ME access terminal, and a storage cell, all of which I have in my inventory. And we'll go put that down on top of my controller and show you what that's like. There we go. And I've got the same thing down here, but now I've got that little bit of a extra window. So for example, if I were to put my redstone in there, I could put one block in that, and I can grab 9 redstone, and you see it reduced it from this portion up here instead of taking it out of there. And I can keep doing that for a bit. And if I want to remove everything from there, there is a clear button right there. And there we go. So I am going to spend some time building out an area over there for my barrels and such to go. I'm going to run some ME cable going under the ground and under the bridge all the way over there. And I'm going to create some new items to help me interface with the barrels that I'm going to be putting into that area. But first, I want to show you this item right here that I'm going to use to help me do all of this. It is called the Builder's Wand. And to help demonstrate it, I'm going to need myself some cobblestone. So the Builder's Wand from, I believe it's from Extra Utilities as well. Extra Utilities has a lot of really great items and blocks that I'm very happy with. What this thing does is it allows me to build easily. So let's say I've got the 1 cobblestone down. I don't need any more cobblestone on my hotbar. I can point at that cobblestone with the Builder's Wand in any direction, and if I right-click, I will place 1 more block. But say I want to now turn that into a wall. Well, I can point at the right-hand side of the wall and right-click, and it will place 4 blocks. But let's say now I want to turn that wall into just a solid block. Well, it can't quite do the 4x4, but the Builder's Wand on its own can do a 3x3, placing 9 blocks at a time, extending a very thick column of cobblestone wherever I want to take it. So I'm going to be using this to speed up and make much safer my building over there. What I'm going to be using to build over there is blackstone and whitestone, and I'll show you the crafting recipe for that real quick. Smooth blackstone is made with 8 stone around an ink sac. Smooth whitestone is made with 8... where is it? There. Smooth whitestone is made with 8 stone around a sugar. And I'm also going to be using the paved versions of both of those, which is the same recipe except replace the stone with stone slabs. So once I have everything put together over there and I've got my wires run and I'm ready to set up the final step, I'll be right back. And I'm back, folks. Let me show you what I've been working on. So I ran the ME cable under the ground and then out under the bridge. I would have preferred to use covers than need to dig down 2 and leave a block over top of it. Unfortunately, they are not compatible with covers. I don't seem to have my covers on me right now, so I won't be able to cover this up at the moment, but it's fairly safe. So, and I've still got the power coming to here for the ME controller to connect to, and I've got the crafting terminal. And now if I set the ME drive here, the controller will connect to the cable through the drive. So I can see that there's 48 cable, an ME drive, and an ME crafting table connected. I'm going to stick my 4K storage cells back in there. I made another one just so that I'd have a little extra room. And because I had extra processors left over after making ME storage buses. These are created using the cable, using some iron ingots, and an ME interface, which is just a conversion matrix, which you've seen, and a bunch of iron, glass, etc. Now, the way the storage buses work, they allow the ME network to see an outside inventory as part of itself. And those outside inventories are going to live over here. And they will be these barrels. To set the storage bus down, it will point away from whatever block you right-click on, or towards whatever block you hold shift and right-click on. You can also turn them around using a wrench, and pick them up using a wrench, just like normal. I have the ME cable coming out of the ground right there, so I'm going to make sure that these all connect. However, I want to go one step further than that, because I want these to be the highest possible priority. I'm going to go into the configurations by pointing at it with a bare fist and right-clicking. And now I'm going to click on the wrench icon, and I'm going to hit +64 to set it to maximum priority. Now, the storage bus is a fairly intelligent item. It will only attempt to store items that can actually fit into that inventory, which is why we're going to pre-configure things. Extract only, insert only, bidirectional. Accept, reject. Okay. I was wondering if there was a leave last stack option. There is not. That way we'd be able to leave one of anything. So all you need to do is make sure that you don't pull everything of a item type out of your network. So I'm going to get these configured. Just another moment. And once I have them hooked up with that cable underneath, I can show you how they work. Oh, and there they are. We are now hooked up. So these storage buses are now a part of the ME network. If I were to set up my metal blocks in here, let's say I want gold there, I want iron here, I want copper, tin, silver, lead, and then I want shiny, ferrous, and aluminum. Now, I can shift right click on the barrel so that even if I remove all of the gold, this barrel will still only accept gold. And if I do that with all of them, for example, I can lock all of these so that they won't accept anything until, at least not automatically. I think I can, yeah, I can still toss the lead in there. Oops, that's going to be an issue. I'll get rid of that in a moment. There. See, you can right click on it, you can left click to get your item back, and then you can remove the lock. Anyway, let me show you how this is going to work. If I come over here to my access terminal, I can now see all of those items available to me. And if I take out all of my iron, well, the iron's gone from the system, but when I look across the way, I can see that iron is still locked to that top block. So if I put the iron back in and go check it out, the iron should have gone back into that space. And it did. And I can grab it from here just as easily as there. So it's just a really cool way to have everything out in the world. I'm probably not going to be using it an awful lot, at least not to like grab items out of the barrels directly, but I like to be able to just have it there to come through and wander through my halls of riches and just enjoy the sheer quantity of resources I'm collecting. So there's our storage build. That's going to be everything for today. Next time I'm going to be working on creating some better tools and progressing the quest line some, and hopefully getting to some farming if I can. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out and helps get the my channel some more exposure. I will see you next time.